All right.
Still sure we have some, they just went up. Tickets? Okay, good. I don't know. I didn't.
Just welcome everybody to the October 9th committee meeting. If everybody can please stand for a moment of silence and the pledge of allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. McGinley.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you're the president, I think I'm gonna take over as superintendent. I want a raise.
Okay, so our first discussion is going to be on facility use fee schedule. Like we said at the last meeting, Brian and I did go back through and look at the fee schedule that we had, and we feel that we should not change anybody's level that they're in, okay? But look at the fee schedule, and instead of making it a fee, we would like to make it a deposit. So when they pay their per season deposit, the custodial fees and security fees will come out of that deposit. If at the end of the season, they have spent more for custodial and security fees than what the deposit was, they would owe us money. If at the end of the season, that deposit was more than what they actually spent, then we would give them back. So our goal was to not make money off of these groups, level 2 groups. So we want to try to make it as fair as possible. So we would like to make that a deposit instead of a fee. And then down here, the custodial fees, like we said in the last meeting, Brian recalculated, some of the things that were in there was like health insurance and things like that we already pay. So that shouldn't have been into the overtime fee. So the fee for custodians would be $30 instead of the $50. So that's what we recommend doing.
So you're looking for a recommendation to put this on the agenda for next week's meeting?
I am looking for a recommendation that we make these changes from a fee to a deposit, so we are not making money off of these groups, but they're still paying the fees that the district is picking up, that our taxpayers are picking up.
Yes.
We're good.
We're good.
We're good? Okay, so then I will put that on the agenda. Thank you. Next thing here, Charlie, Director, you want to come down? He'll give an update on some of the projects that we have going on here in the district.
Good evening, everybody. Real quick, the heat, obviously, we're going to be putting the heat on this week in our 2 pipe systems, our 4 pipe systems. It's not worried or already hot. They're forecasting temperatures in the 60s, lows in the 30s, frost next week at some point. So to keep the buildings somewhat warm, we're going to start the heat, work the kinks out, and hopefully by next week we're up and running and no issues. The upgrades up at Penn Kidder were installed for the VAS system with no problems at this point. The inlets at the high school and Penn Kidder campus have had temporary repairs made to make them safe both for vehicles and pedestrians. I did get proposals from the contractor who did the swale out back. They were a little salty or pricey, and so I'm going to be putting that out for a bid to 3 contractors through the KPN network, and have contractors come out and vie for that job. But they are safe at this point. Traffic at Paula's building over at LBM seems to be coming under control, if not already under control, to a point where I haven't had a phone call in over 2 weeks. So hopefully that goes without a hitch in through the winter and into the spring. Water tower out at PK is going to need some work done to the aircraft lights on the top, the red lights. I climbed up there and changed some bulbs, and the bulbs came on during the So the dusk to dawn sensor is not operating. I'm gonna need to go back up there and change that out. Once that's done, if everything's fine, then, we have 2 bulbs up there, so if one goes out, the other one is redundant. We just need to remember to look and see if there's 2 lights lit or 1 light lit. Because if 1 light's lit, then we gotta go up and change the bulbs.
You're not looking for board approval on this, are you?
No.
No, just give us some.
Just give an update.
Work on the windows above the library at LBM. We have caulking around all those windows that has failed in more ways than I can tell you about. We got Alan Kunzman, roofing company, to come in and give us a quote on that for $2,400. This is something that we need to do.
Put it on the agenda.
We've water tested this thing from the roof all the way up the side of the building. It's leaking through those windows. Now, all the rest of the windows are in the same condition. Fortunately for us, they're not leaking at this point. And that's something that's in the feasibility study that's been recommended, that we do all the caulking on all the buildings. So that work's gonna be done in the next week. Maybe Thursday or Friday of next week. It's gonna take a whole day, probably 4 or 5 guys up there. So Paula, you and I will have to talk about maybe putting some temporary curtains up or something so the kids don't see and hear what's going on, but we need to get it done before winter, so I apologize in advance for that. Underground tanks, our fuel tanks are going to be inspected. It's a 3-year inspection, but we also have yearly inspections that need to be done, and we need Class C certified individuals to be able to do that on a monthly basis. And to the best of my knowledge, myself and Chris West are the only 2 who have those certifications. And so, to allow for some redundancy, if Chris is out and I happen to be out for whatever reason, we have 1 or 2 other people on staff that have the certification that can do these inspections once a month. And it's nothing other than making sure all the operating systems, the safety systems, the ballards and stuff like that are functioning properly, recording it in a journal, and it gets hung up in either in my office or in the boiler room.
Are these the only 2 that we have in the district?
As far as I know, unless we have something somewhere that I don't know about. We do have an above-ground tank out at Penn Kidder, which is getting repainted this weekend because of the big rust spots on it, and I'm surprised we haven't got hit with that yet, but anyway, that will be repainted this weekend, Friday and Saturday.
I don't know how we got away with out there. What is that, 10,000 gallon tank?
I believe so, yeah, or 12.
12 maybe? But usually it has to be inside it, like a swimming pool,
Yeah.
but it can hold 12,000 gallons.
I believe that's a double line tank,
Okay, maybe that.
Tank
excuse me,
inside
that
the tank.
excludes it.
about a 4-inch gap.
Excludes it, yeah, it probably does, because they were busy about it. We actually, at LB Morris, there was a perfectly good water well over there that we had to cap off. We won the city system, that's why we spent all that money bringing that water line out from North Street. We won the city system. With the, yeah, there were tanks over at, LB Morris, that's where originally fuel was over there. Like almost exactly where the, what would you say, Lori, where the,
What's your point, Jim?
Right, yeah, they've been gone for a long time.
What's that, Dennis?
What's your point?
My point is, get you busy and listen to what's going on.
I am, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk, so forget about it, so don't worry about it.
I am worried about it. Just shut up and listen to what he has to say.
What?
All right, so there's a roof leak down here in the hallway, between the gym and the auditorium.
Okay.
I don't believe it's a roof leak, but it seems to get worse every time it rains. But it's been leaking now for 2 days, and we haven't had a drop of rain in over a week. So, the only problem is when you go in the ceiling in that hallway, there's ductwork from 4 inches off the firewall here, straight across to the other wall, that's a firewall for the gymnasium. And so you can't see up in there. I have the roofers coming out tomorrow to check the roof and make sure the roof is not the culprit and it's just holding water somewhere and it's getting its way down and
You say
dripping
that
in.
ductwork, is that air conditioning charge?
I don't know.
Could be
Well,
condensation.
it's all air duct now, it's not condensation. But we're gonna get a camera on a stick, get it up in there between the ducts so we can see, maybe some light, we'll need some light and stuff.
Grounding or something.
We need to get that fixed before, winter sports starts, because that hallway is like a highway. So, I just wanted to make you aware, that's something that's gonna be coming up here.
You won't see any roofs.
I'm working along, with Brian on the insurance claim that we're putting in for the chiller that blew all the fans out. Now, if you remember, about a month and a half ago, we fixed all the fans on the accompanying chiller 2. We fixed all of those fans, and basically 7 of them were blown out. Only to have the chiller 1 unit go completely out overnight. And so we put an insurance claim in for this because it, along with Train, Chris, and the BAS system, we believe that it was related to a thunderstorm that happened overnight because it was running Wednesday into the late evening when it shut down because there was no load on it. And then when we came in Thursday morning, it was completely offline and no alarm, and 7 motors on top of that unit went out.
When was this?
This was August 28th, I believe, right before school started.
Yeah.
How old is the unit?
That unit, I believe, is going on 20 years. But the mechanical part of the units, I believe, will go another 10 or so years. Exterior door, key cores and new keying system. We're gonna use the existing Cormac system. We're gonna use a different key master, to limit who has access to our exterior doors via a key. This will be everybody's key going forward. Once Lori gets everything online, operational, and done, we're gonna switch every core in every building, along with the Knox boxes to secure our buildings in a way that they should have been secured when we first bought this new key system,
Absolutely.
Cormax.
That's why it
The
wasn't.
problem is, we're handing master keys out to anybody who, oh, well, I need to get into 10 different locks, so just give me a master key.
No.
And then they leave, they don't give the key back, or they lose the key, want another key, and now we have keys everywhere. And no accounting for them.
Everything's gonna be on swipe now from here on in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The master keys will only be going to like myself, a couple people. And
As it
that's
should be.
yes, yes. And
Well, there's some of the doors that both swipes and master key.
Yeah.
How many of them did you say?
well, there's
Well, we're adding more
every,
swipes to it, yeah. To the
every
building, so all-
door that has a swipe will have a key as well.
So are we gonna be in the same?
No, you won't get the key back.
No,
You'll just have swipe access.
nobody's key will work except for the master key that.
Because you wanna see when people are swiping in.
Right, and you can control the swipe to just the high school or just the.
Right.
Yeah, good.
So we're making sure that, like, if you're an LB teacher, your swipe's only gonna work at LB. If you have to come to high school for something, you can always check in with anybody else that's buzzing. We're trying to really limit who can get access to the building, so.
And then last but not least, Northern Lehigh School District surrounded one of their fields with a fence and made it a sporting field. They have a John Deere tractor with a big mower deck, a front end bucket, roughly the same size as the one we have here. That they're basically giving it away. For the cost that they're asking for this thing, it's $32,000 they're asking for it. The mower deck alone, if you wanted to buy it today, was probably around $20,000 to $22,000 just for the mower deck. The loader is a cabin loader with a front bucket. We could use this up at PK because all we have is garden variety tractor that will not be able to load the salter that I want to purchase for the pickup truck. It will not be able to load salt on that salter.
Do we have a place to store it?
Plus, we could use this loader for moving rocks around like we need to, keeping the snow piles under control. We can go out there because it's an enclosed cab. You can be out there in sub-zero temperatures, breaking up these piles, throwing them into swales.
Do we have a garage to keep it in out there?
Yes, we have a 3-car garage up there with 2 bay doors. One is for the pickup truck to park in, the other one is for the equipment, getting it in and out, but we can pull that into the 3rd bay, make room for this thing to park in the garage.
That's what okay.
Yeah, and then we can buy our salt in bulk, like I can call and
Because you
say,
can load it, yep.
send us 22 tons, on a triaxle, have it dumped out there, cover it, because we don't have a salt shed, but cover it so it stays dry and doesn't get really, really hard. And then when he needs the salt, he loads it up in
Do
the
we have
salter,
the-
parks it in the garage. When he needs it, it's there.
Do we have an employee that will know how to operate it?
Yes, Kyle.
Okay.
Kyle Lindermuth, that's out there, currently operates the one, and the one that's down here, because his is too small, when we cleared that patch of woods out, if you see the piles laying in there, the reason those piles are there is because they needed the loader back here, and that little loader he has up there, you get maybe a wheelbarrow and a half in the bucket, in the front bucket. And
Brian, do we have money
he'd
for
still be
those?
moving those piles if he used that machine.
We do?
So, this is something that they made an offer to us. He called me and said, hey, listen, I know you guys are looking for one. He talked to the John Deere guy who I talked to a few weeks ago, and he said, listen, I'm gonna get rid of this because we have no use for the mower deck. Now, that mower deck will cut his mowing time down out there to basically nothing, because that mower deck will probably cut all the open area up there in 2 hours.
What is it, about 6 foot?
Oh, no, it's like 14 foot.
Yeah, it's
It's 3 decks.
Put it on the
Close
agenda.
up.
Put it on the agenda, we're good.
Good.
But what are you gonna
Okay.
spread the salt with?
Salt
Salt
spreader
spreader.
on the back of a pickup truck.
I mean, we have that, or you have to get one of them.
No,
That's next.
we had one,
We did.
but it's sitting down there all in pieces and rusted because
Nobody
it
uses
just
it.
never was taken care of.
Where's it at now?
It's down at that, what we call it, a garage or shed
Outside
beyond
the
the football
football
field.
field, yeah.
And Jared, we definitely need it, because one thing that happens out at Penn Kidder, Mr. President and I witnessed it firsthand,
Yes.
that I walked in the front doors of the Penn Kidder lot last winter, and by the time I got into Holly's office, there were people flying across the parking lot, like falling down.
Yeah,
Our
I
insurance
walk
pays
in
for the
5
roof
minutes
So I think
before
that the salt
everybody else
spreader
goes,
and
and I
the salt
use the
has
rock.
out there a benefit out there.
Icy conditions all the time out
Yeah,
there.
it's
Yeah.
crazy out there.
Yeah, and so part of the problem is we have the big spreaders, that take 5 bags of calcium chloride, which is really expensive to melt ice on blacktop. It should only be used on concrete. And then our snow plowing guy, he usually salts it with a big truck. He's got other accounts, and until we called him in that incident, we could have had Kyle out there salting it right away.
Yeah.
But,
Well, put it on the agenda.
We're good.
All right,
Good.
okay,
Brian, you're up. Thanks.
thank you.
We use the Hartford for long-term disability group life for our employees, and they presented an offer to us to renew our contract for 2 years at the exact same rates that we pay now. No
Put it on the
increase.
agenda.
I checked
That's a
with Joe-
no-brainer.
I checked with Joe Pill if there's any reason why we wouldn't, he said no, so I just want to make you guys aware.
That's a no-brainer.
We trust ourselves.
And, just one update on the grant that we filed for all of our roofs. They reissued more money, I told you that before, it is delayed, so it was supposed to have an answer already. What I'm being told, since we were contacted by, the people running the grant, to clarify some things, that it looks good that we might get some money, but I'm being told that most applicants are not going to get their whole amount, like they're gonna get something. So, something's better than nothing.
Yep.
To try to get our roofs. We have not been given any information yet that we are going to get something, but, that's what I'm hearing. Let's see, so we're just left with Lori.
You don't even have to go down there, just stay right there.
All right, I have no problem staying right here. Real quick transportation update. I want to go over, Luke just sent me a message that we still are short 2 to 3 drivers. There are two drivers right now that are almost through all the road testing to start driving. There's 2 more that we just signed on this week who have all their clearances and are up to date for transportation for driving. One's gonna be a designated trip driver, so that's gonna help us stop taking our regular run drivers out. So they'll just be doing trips, like sporting events, and the other one's gonna be a sub driver. So that's probably, Eddie's, what you're talking about.
Yep.
So they're in there, so that's up with transportation. Security update, real quick, the grant money, we started the one project with all the, like Charlie said about changing the cores and stuff, switching everything over to the badge systems. The system is up and running, the delay is this building. We are actually putting in 4 more card readers here. Keystone Fire and Security came back yesterday, and they got door number 2 up and running, so that one's good. Today they worked on door 10 and 13, and then tomorrow, the holdup is the loading dock door, keeps giving us issues. So High Mountain Hardware is coming tomorrow to meet with Keystone, and they're gonna work together to get that loading dock straightened out, and also, the other one's door 9, down here, across from Mr. Struber's office.
What about the kitchen over here?
Yep, that one over there, yeah. So as soon as we get this building done, then we're ready to go, switch all the cords out, and everything will be set up. I got the whole badge system cleared out, I got all of those employees back in, everybody's stuff is updated. Everybody is now building specific, except for the ones who have to switch.
So we won't get new cards?
Excuse me?
We will all get new cards?
No, I'm able to use the old ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. If they're faded, one thing we did is if they're faded, you can't read them, they're cracked, then I'll replace them. We did start implementing this year though, to try and cut down all the lost badges and unreported badges, that if you lose it, you pay $25 for a new one.
That's a good idea.
Because these cost us $25 a piece.
Yeah.
So, so far, I had one employee who it was really bad, cracked, so I replaced that, and I had another employee came in and said, I did lose it, it's my fault, and asked her to check too, so they're gonna reimburse for that card, and then,
They're not ordering right now, right? Or cards?
not all of them, no.
I tried it on my front door.
You can get in.
No.
Well,
The other-
also, yeah, go ahead.
Besides the other thing with the badges,
You
Is
have
the
one
camera-
on.
what's that?
You have one on.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. The camera project that we're working on, the 14th, next Monday, they'll be back in to do the 2nd floor of the Penn Kidder and the outside camera. So they're gonna start with they're gonna do all the wiring, get the outside cameras up first, and then come in the inside because of the weather, and then that building will be complete. I went through and made a list of all the cameras that are still out there that have great clarity to them, they're nice videos. So we're gonna, Rob's gonna have one of his IT guys go out there, pull those cameras, I have them marked with red tape. So they're gonna pull them, and then we're gonna pop down the LB ones that are fake, that have good clarity in the picture. And then we're gonna pop those up in LB, and also take care of LB's blind spots with the additional cameras we can save from out there.
Nice.
So that's where we're at.
Lori and I also attended a swatting seminar, or tabletop
Tabletop
exercise
exercise.
at the 911 center, where they just wanted to meet with us. And so we have those, I know I keep putting out the messages, about the people on Facebook they're posting, or, very vague, not specific threats. But they're designed to cause chaos in a building. So when we do get those, we immediately call the local police, state police. We investigate them thoroughly. So I just want, and what we tell everybody is, for the parents, students, staff, please don't repost. Please don't repost. Just send it to us. Say, hey, I heard this, I saw this come through. Please don't repost, because reposting just causes more chaos and fear and stuff like that for something that we've already investigated and we're probably already aware of. But if not, please send it our way. You can use the State to Say app to do it. You can call us, whatever. Just get us information and we will investigate it. But I just ask that please don't repost them, because you're reposting something that's just causing more panic in the districts.
We also have a link to a reporting system that goes through the FBI, so that way they can also investigate it and see if it's the same post that's been circulating around other
Yeah.
states, and then people just change things and make it look like it's our district. So, it was a great tabletop exercise. It was posted by the sheriff's department, the district attorney's office was there, the police and chiefs were there. It was a really good, tabletop exercise.
The last thing we have is a system that we knew another school that had a shooting down in Georgia, right?
Yeah, the last one just happened in Georgia.
Okay, they have a system that they use a card, and on that card, this company puts things in the buildings. They put, your fire alarms have the flashes that go off. Well, they put sensors in, so if there were ever anything for this card, say for example there's a fight in one of the far hallways and a teacher needs help, the teacher can push it's a recessed button inside this card, push it 3 times, a call goes out, a message goes out to whoever's on that one, so that, hey, this teacher needs assistance up in this hallway, so you can go up there. If there was an intruder or something where you need the lockdown, they push it, they just keep pushing it. And once you hit 8 times in a row, then it just shuts the school, it puts it in lockdown. All their sensors start flashing. It takes over the computer screens and says we're in a lockdown. So you can get that out immediately without having to try to get a call into the office and then an intercom out to people.
Where are these cards
It
at?
al- it also goes right to 911.
Right.
And to the police. So in that incident down in Georgia, what happened was the teacher hit the button, she kept hitting it,
So
it'll
each teacher
vibrate.
has one?
Yes,
Yes,
everybody
yes.
will get
That's
one.
what I was, okay.
It'll be on a lanyard, it's gonna be your badge, everybody will get one in the district. And what happened was she kept pushing it, it started vibrating. It immediately sent an alert to the police, so they were responding, and it went to the SRO in the building. The SRO confronted the person because it showed the SRO exactly where that person was with the weapon, where that teacher was confronted. Once they were confronted, then put the gun down. So it's a very quick response. It takes over your crisis platforms, your crisis manager platforms. So instead of you going through a phone, crisis manager, looking up the app, going through it,
You don't have-
and pushing buttons and fumbling, you just can just do it. It's very discreet, like in a bank alarm. You know that they're doing it,
Yep.
stuff like that.
And the one thing that's really good about it is that it actually pinpoints that
Where they
person's
are.
location in the building. So when the police get notified, or the SRO, the administrators, we know exactly where, what room that we need to get to.
That's a no-brainer too, let's
We
get
did
it.
Well, we did a demo with the company, Mr. President and I tapped the dog last Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, last Friday.
Yeah.
They went through everything, and the cost is gonna be per building, because the elbow is a little bit too far away to get them on our gateway. So everything is run outside of our internet, it's not interfered with our internet. So they put gateways on the buildings, they come in and they outfit all the classrooms with these sensors, like Mr. President said, and they also outfit them with the audio and visual. Because we do have some hearing impaired children in our district as well, and they won't know what's going on. So it's kind of like a fire alarm too, where you see the flash and you know something's going on and alert you. So if we were to switch over to the Strategics platform and go with that, we can eliminate our visitor management system that we have at each one of our buildings, because this platform has that with it. So
Okay.
we could drop that cost, and we could also drop the Navigate 360 app that we have that we don't use.
Yeah.
There's just not enough people go on it. We look at it, I can see who uses it, how often they're on it. It's not being used. We spend $3,000 every year on this, and it's not being utilized. If we drop those two, we can save about $6,000 net. Unfortunately, the startup cost to start this up and running for the 1 year fee would cost the district $43,800. To set the whole district up.
It's still,
Now, the one thing with that cost
It's life, like.
is if anything went bad, now, of course, if somebody come and like smashed their thing, we didn't pay for that, but if it went bad, they
They replace everything.
They replace
for
it.
free.
it's,
So
there's
if
no
the car
cost. to us.
doesn't work, they give you a new car. If one of the monitors goes down, they give you a new monitor. Everything is taken care of. It's monitored by the company 24/7, so they know battery life, they know when things are going down, they have somebody constantly looking at it. So thereafter, it's gonna be an annual fee, with subtracting off what we are currently paying for our crisis stuff, it would cost us $18,000. So we'd be paying, well, I guess subtract it off the top, so initially 24, I think it was. 24/6 annually for the whole district.
you
But
can't
that-
replace
that's not-
life.
Is that for the whole, or is that minus?
24 is before the savings.
Right, then that takes savings away, now it's on the
Right.
18, we don't have to have those other.
Did you get your grant this year?
We did, but it was to finish up all those tier ones.
Okay.
Now, one thing I did say was that usually, but at the end of the school year, there's an equipment grant out there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually around 25,000. And I think that we're talking to this company, by the time they get in here and start that,
It might be right there.
it might be at the same time, at least we have 25,000 to throw towards this.
Right, and the one thing he also said is that
Brian, can we?
they would, what they would do is they would take that cost and put it in half. So you pay half up front, and then they would get your system running, and you don't pay the other half until the system's running. So if we delayed it, and to the point where when they're ready to go, we could pay it out of next year's budget.
Charlie, you just might lose your tractor
The
now.
other half.
I'm sorry, Charlie. You can borrow my tractor.
But again, this is something we saw. It isn't something that we have to get ready to spend it. We could look for the next grant that comes out that would pick it up. The diesel startup cost is what is a big cost, so.
I mean, there are grants out there where we have found where the 2-year grants, and if we start something and it's not fully done in place, we can still slide into a grant that's
Okay.
upcoming, but we just can't project what's upcoming.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, last year, the equipment grant, instead of 25, was 40,
Yeah.
which is what we used to finish the cameras off, so we don't always know. I just know that from what I'm reading and seeing, I think there's gonna be a lot of money still coming forward with school safety and security stuff. I agree 100%, you can't put a price on somebody's life. I did the math by just our students. If we just took the number of students in these 3 buildings and multiplied it, and divided it into this number, we're talking less than $8 a kid.
Mhm.
I mean, we throw our staff numbers on top of that, you're looking $5 a person, that could save somebody's life or a lot of lives.
I would like to put it on the agenda.
I mean,
I agree, yes, put on the agenda.
Put it on.
I know it's a big item, but
Hey, Lori, did you ever figure out what we're saving transportation this year?
I don't have an exact number yet, but I know we're saving $130,000 in fuel.
There we go. There
That's
is
where it
the
is.
money. We are good.
And not only that,
No,
we
no more
don't
tractors
have,
for you.
what, 2 or 3 bus runs?
How should we save more money?
$200,000.
And plus, I know we'll save about $200,000 just by
$200,000
elimination of
runs.
some runs.
Because our run reduction should be 200,000, and then with our fuel savings, it should be 130 for the fuel.
You just earned
And
yourself.
with our reimbursement, our
$43,000
reimbursement will most likely go up as well because they understand the formula and the way our ridership is put out there, and the way it's gonna be submitted to the state, we will get more funding back.
So
from
they
the
just,
state.
they just started sending me bills, Dennis, I know I'm over my time limit, but they just started, they started sending me bills, and the nice thing I said to Brian was, when I looked at the bills they sent me, they actually had their run sheet attached to it, and on there, they already had a state reimbursement amount done and calculated for us, saying this is what you should get back for this run for that amount of time.
Nice.
We've never gotten that in all the years that I've been involved with transportation, and it's,
Right, it was always, it was always, trying to
We
put the
were
report together.
concentrating on that when we were doing the contract,
right, yes.
no question about it, it saved some
And we
money.
are, I think we are saving money, a lot more money.
I think we should put on.
They're not hitting us for every single little thing they do. If they make a mistake, they're going out and covering it. They're not charging us for what they're doing. They're not charging us for extra runs they have to run. They're not charging us for 2 activity buses, because I know that James picks up the LB kids and another gentleman picks up Penn Kidder because they can't get the kids in here in time. They're trying to get them in time. So they're not charging us for 2 buses where the other company, we were getting overcharged for us.
Everything.
So we are gonna see a big savings in transportation.
That's awesome. All right, are we done?
Brian,
So this is go on the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah.
hey, Brian, how about, have you been mulling around with any figures what we're gonna have at the end of the
Rob, are
school
you
year?
good?
For last year.
This year,
Yes, are we done, or you're just
I just have an appointment, that's why I'm asking, I wasn't head out.
Thank you.
yeah, I just had one question for you guys, after the meeting is over, just real quick.
in executive session.
Yeah, just real quick, I'll be,
Okay,
just have like one thing. Is that it for the meeting?
that's it?
All right,
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Charlie, write your number down, your fax, or your,
Rob, you're gonna
cell
ask
phone
about
number for me, write that down.